This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's get to the next match. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes are going to win a gauntlet series to become the new tag team champions. The match wasn't even announced ahead of time. Even as of the weekend, this is according to Meltzer, Creative didn't know which way they were going with the tag team title other than it would be at stake on the show. Dave would write, the feeling is McIntyre has the look and size to be a star, and Rhodes had some charisma with his dashing, cocky gimmick. Plus it gets them both on shows. The deal here is the way it was put together was for them to win the titles, but never beat the Hart Dynasty. But again, psychology was all ass backwards because the Hart Dynasty was supposed to come off as top contenders, but instead they lost in 2 minutes clean. They should have won 2 or 3 matches and then lost. And the story of the situation was unfair to them. Instead, they came off like losers, and his face is put in a position of challenging for the title. That's exactly what you don't want to come across as, because everyone thought the belts that Bret Hart brought out were so ugly. They've got new tag belts. And, he would say the Usos beat the Hart Dynasty in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Then the Usos beat Santino and Kozlov in 44 seconds. Mark Henry and Evan Bourne would beat the Hart Dynasty in 1 minute and 20. McIntyre and Rhodes would beat Henry and Bourne in 6:06. And Dave would note that people were surprisingly into this match, particularly Evan Bourne's selling. Henry got hot tagged in, leading to a hilarious spot where Rhodes ran at Henry and was supposed to get hit and fall down. Well, he ran too fast as Henry hadn't even started his punch when Rhodes got there. So Rhodes gets there and just falls down, selling a punch that was never thrown. So ridiculous looking. The finish saw Bourne on Henry's shoulders do a shooting star off the shoulders onto Rhodes. McIntyre runs in and kicks Henry in the gut several times and Bourne falls off. Rhodes pins Bourne after the crossroads. The final match was good. 2 1/4 stars. The psychology of this does seem pretty wacky, but it is kind of fun to go back and watch now with the benefit of hindsight, knowing what all these guys went on to do. What'd you think watching it back for the first time in 10 years?
It was a period where it was almost like being in a tag team was a curse. There was no thought put into it. It was not viewed as being a big part of the show or a big part of the company. You know, for the longest time, tag matches and tag teams just died. And what I heard at the time, it was because there was 4 sets of trans versus 2, which if the company is on fire, I don't know what that would matter. But the fact of the matter is if you look at the finish times on all those matches, there was no thought or concern or anything coming from anywhere from creative to build the tag division. Because all those finishes that went down in 1 minute this and 1 minute that and 44 seconds, you're not accomplishing anything. And when the night was over, you know, I don't know that you still accomplished anything. But you look at Drew and you look at Cody, and they had, even back then, you could see the potential in those guys. You know, the Hart Foundation, well, you know how I feel about those guys. You had to sort through what you were doing in all those matches and figure who at the very end do I want to really shine. And it just feels like to me it was piss poor organized. And the thought process just you didn't put any validity in the tag situation at the time.
Yeah, listen, I'm glad it wound up where it did, and I'm looking forward to them doing some stuff with the Hart Dynasty. You and I have talked about how much we love them, and I like the tag team of McIntyre and Rhodes, but this is a little weird. Let's talk about the first match here. We've got Dolph Ziggler pinning Kofi Kingston in a match where the title could change hands by DQ or a count out. Dolph gets the win with a pin, 12 minutes, 42 seconds. He's accompanied to the ring by Vicky Guerrero, and Caitlyn. And I guess this is supposed to be a big storyline. We'll see what happens. Guerrero goes on to slap Kingston. Ziggler yells at her because if the ref saw and DQ'd him, he'd lose the title. She stops. While distracted, Kingston goes for the Trouble in Paradise, but misses again, and Ziggler wins clean with the zigzag. Meltzer says overall it was a solid opener, 2.5 stars. I got to tell you, man, when you give these two guys ample time, they can put on one hell of a match. What'd you think of this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the match was excellent. It feels like at this point in time, they had gotten together a few times. I'd seen a little bit on TV, and, it wasn't like it was a first time deal. They did have an inner story with, Caitlyn, being out there, who's a babyface, and Vicky, who had a ton of heat. That excuse me drove them nuts. Really did. She did a good job with that. And they were trying to tell a little story with the stipulations that were based on the match, which was abnormal, to lose a championship if you got DQ'd. So it had some interest in it. Anytime you can get Dolph Ziggler a win, I'm all for it.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.